What a historic result here. Unbelievable. Group G, Cameroon 1, Brazil 0. Brazil fails to top the group with 9 points. Really, for the first time since 1994, no nation in the World Cup has finished with 9 points in the group stage. First time since 1994 that's happened. And just like France and Spain and Portugal, big teams failing to win their final game, Brazil failed to do so here. What a famous result here for Cameroon, who go out of the tournament, but they go out with one of the best ways to exit a World Cup for any team who's going to leave at the group stage. I don't think Cameroon can consider this tournament a big failure at all, because coming in this tournament with very low expectations, they managed to get 4 points, finish third in this group, a much better accounting of themselves than in the last 3 or 4 World Cup appearances for the Indomitable Lions. And they will leave feeling, if things had just gone their way a little bit differently, they might have snuck into that last 16 against all the odds. And this is how beautiful football is, guys. Yes, of course, Brazil are missing Neymar. We don't know when he's going to be fit again. Yes, of course. Brazil made rotations in this game. They brought in Dani Alves at the back, 39-year-old, one of the oldest players at this World Cup. You have to think it's a last hurrah for him. They had a lot of switches from the Serbia and Switzerland matches, but it's Brazil. Brazil should still be getting something from this game against a team that is on paper the worst side in the group. But Cameroon were playing for survival, and they put on a performance like warriors in this game. They always played in a way that did not show Brazil too much respect. They came at Brazil offensively, came close to scoring in the first half, and you have to give up for the goalkeeper, substitute goalkeeper Epasse, who started ahead of Andre Onana in this game. He was one of the biggest impact players in this entire match. He came in time and time after again, clutch for Cameroon today, in coming off his line, making some great saves. And he is the reason why Brazil did not run out with 3 points today. We know that Gabriel Martinelli, we know that Antony, we know Fabinho, Fred, they all posed threats here and there to the Cameroonian goal. But Epasse, I would not be surprised if going forward in AFCON qualifiers and future fixtures for Cameroon, if he gets a nod for a starting position in this squad, because he put on a performance today that was reflective of a player who still believed that this team had a chance to come through. Cameroon players knew it as well. They needed some help to come in the Serbia-Switzerland game. They didn't get that help, but my oh my, they took the game to this Brazilian side and gave Brazil a little bit of an alert. You're not so impenetrable. You're not so untouchable. You can be had at even if you make rotations just because you're Brazil. Look what happened to France. They lost to Tunisia. Look what happened to Portugal. They lost to South Korea. Nobody is safe in this World Cup. But when you come up against a team that's playing for everything, this is the kind of thing that you get. Does this Brazil team look fine without Neymar? I would say here and there, but the issue is Rodrigo can grow into that Neymar role. In my opinion, I don't think any of the players' performances tonight can be considered bad. They weren't necessarily great either, of course, but I felt that Casemiro's presence was missing the most on the pitch tonight for Brazil, if anything. But you can also, on the other hand, look at it like this. Maybe Rodrigo can grow into that role, but that's not a role that he should necessarily be playing, because Neymar is covering for one real gap in the lineup because he can, and he's better at it than anybody else. So I think for that midfield creativity, you have somebody like Neymar who plays such a pivotal role in pulling the strings for Brazil in that area of the pitch, and they're going to need him when Brazil comes up against teams that are going to be on their level. I don't know if he'll start against South Korea. My guess would be not. My guess that it'd be that Neymar might not even play for the quarterfinal against the winner of Croatia and Japan if Brazil get there. But I am starting to think he has to show up at this World Cup at one point or another. He has to be on the pitch. Neymar has to be playing if Brazil's going to win this World Cup. One area of concern, they have not scored a goal at all in the first half of any of their group stage games, which shows that Brazil sometimes struggle to break down teams that set up very rigidly against them. No goals in the first half. So remember those goals against Serbia and Switzerland, all second half goals. It took something special from the Richarlison and Casemiro in those two games for Brazil to find the back of the net. Could this be a big problem for Brazil going forward? Because they have not been tested defensively yet either. They're going to have to start worrying about that when they come up against teams who can go up against them. But to give you an idea of just how good Brazil are, this was the first game that chance Cameroon had to score at the end that forced Ederson into making a big save. That was the first shot on target Brazil even allowed the entire group stage. It took 2.5 games approximately for Brazil to even allow the opposition an opportunity to score. That is insane. At the end of the day, I think Cameroon can be proud. Rigobert Song and his men can be very proud of this performance. This is a result Cameroon players will remember for the rest of their lives. Because they leave this tournament with their heads held high. I do, however, have to say, maybe Wua or Obozi should have started over Nkulu against Switzerland and Serbia. And maybe Vincent Aboubakar, who scored that goal at the end when Cameroon went on the counter, lovely goal, took his shirt off in celebration, got sent off for it in the heat of the moment because he had a previous yellow card. What a way to get sent off, but, he handled it well. But maybe Wua and Obozi should have started over Nkulu, and I think, honestly, it might have been a big mistake for putting Vincent Aboubakar on the bench. He should have been starting, I think, in every single game for Cameroon. And Cameroon will ask questions. Could they have done more to have come away with something more than just a point in that match against Serbia? Because if they did, they would be coming out of this group, and they got a lot closer than anybody, myself including, thought they would, which is a big turnaround from their previous humiliations in the past few World Cups. We were waiting for a long time for Cameroon to finally shine in a World Cup since that storied quarterfinal run in 1990. They didn't come through at the end of the day here, but they did themselves well and proud. And they get to go home and say that they beat Brazil. Possibly, in a few weeks, they might get to say they beat the next world champions.